The story opens with a stark, desolate scene in orbit around Zenthera Prime, a planet scarred by centuries of war and neglect. Its orbiting outpost, once a hub of human research and defense, now floats in ruin, a hollow skeleton of twisted metal and shattered glass. The silence is almost oppressive, broken only by the occasional creak of drifting debris or the faint hiss of escaping atmosphere. Commander Jace Nolan, a seasoned human veteran, approaches the wreckage with his elite squad. The tension is immediate. This is no ordinary salvage mission. Every shadow, every movement could conceal a threat, and in the dark void of space, mistakes are fatal. Jace's trained eyes scan the floating debris with precision. His helmet's HUD flickers over the fractured hull, highlighting structural weaknesses, floating cables, and the occasional sign of life. It is then that he notices movement, a subtle shimmer in the shadowed corridor of the station. His instincts kick in. He raises his weapon, voice firm, echoing across the empty station. "Show yourself!" His tone is calm but commanding, a blend of authority and caution. The response is immediate, but not in the way he expects. The metal groans and shifts as a lone figure steps out of the darkness, a woman in a battle-worn exosuit. Her armor is scarred and dented, the helmet reflecting the dim light like a dark mirror. Her movements are careful, measured. Every step speaks of someone trained yet wary, someone who has survived horrors Jace can only imagine. There is a tension in the air, a delicate balance between threat and caution. Jace lowers his weapon slightly, signaling both caution and trust. "I'm not going to hurt you. Let me see you," he says, his voice carrying empathy beneath the surface firmness. But the woman freezes, and in that instant, the story's emotional core is revealed. "No," she says, muffled behind the scratched helmet, voice trembling with memory and defiance. "Not after what they did to me." Those words hang in the air like a shrapnel-filled silence. Jace understands immediately. Whatever atrocity she endured, it was beyond ordinary comprehension. It marks her as both a survivor and a fighter, someone who has endured humanity's darkest moments but emerged alive, hardened and unbroken. Before the emotional tension can resolve, danger arrives with shocking immediacy. The Vrylok fleet, a brutal and technologically superior alien force, appears in orbit. Their ships blot out the stars, their dark, jagged hulls a terrifying sight against the void. Alarms blare, the station shakes, and the quiet tension transforms into instant chaos. The threat is overwhelming. Human forces are outnumbered, outgunned, and facing annihilation. But in true HFY fashion, human ingenuity and courage immediately take the spotlight. Jace's mind shifts from caution to strategy. He signals his team to battle stations, but his eyes remain on the woman. She hesitates for only a moment before complying with his unspoken command. This is a crucial moment, not just for survival, but for human camaraderie. It establishes her as more than a survivor. She is a fighter, ready to align with humanity when trust is earned, proving that even in the most fractured souls, human spirit can shine. As the Vrylok ships launch waves of fighters, plasma fire streaking across the station's hull, Jace and the woman move like a single lethal unit. Every maneuver is precise. Jace pilots the small interceptor with expert skill, weaving through enemy fire while she uses her agility and training to strike down boarding drones, dismantle mechanical traps, and eliminate threats with cold efficiency. The contrast between alien technological superiority and human ingenuity becomes stark. While the Vrylok rely on brute strength and advanced weaponry, humanity leverages cunning, coordination, and adaptability, turning a near-hopeless scenario into a battlefield where victory is not impossible. This opening section sets the tone for the story. Humanity faces overwhelming odds, but refuses to bow. Jace's interaction with the woman underscores the emotional depth of HFY. Humans are resilient not just in battle, but in spirit. Her refusal to remove her helmet is symbolic, representing trauma, resilience, and the personal cost of survival in a galaxy that does not forgive weakness. Meanwhile, the arrival of the alien threat injects immediate urgency, propelling the narrative forward into a sequence of high-stakes action, emotional tension, and the emergence of a partnership that will define the story's arc. By the end of Part 1, readers understand the stakes. Humanity is under attack. Every choice could be life or death. And yet, even in despair, courage and ingenuity persist. The seeds of heroism, trust, and defiance are planted, promising that this is a story where humans do not just survive, they fight back against impossible odds with heart, skill, and unyielding resolve. With the Vrylock fleet looming above, the calm of orbit is shattered. Jace Nolan's squad is immediately thrust into a chaotic defense. The alien ships are massive, their blackened, jagged hulls bristling with energy cannons that hum with deadly power. Every pulse of their weapons can slice through the hull of a human cruiser, turning steel into molten slag. Jace's training takes over, his mind calculating angles of approach, enemy trajectories, and weak points in the alien formation. The fight is not just about firepower. It is about anticipation, adaptability, and sheer human will. The woman in the battered suit, whose name is still unknown to him, moves with terrifying efficiency. Every action is deliberate. She doesn't fire blindly, she calculates. Drones that swarm like metallic hornets are dismantled mid-flight, plasma bolts deflected or dodged with precision. Jace notices her skill, how she seems almost in tune with the chaos, anticipating attacks before they happen. There's a story in her movements, a story of survival, of someone who has fought not for glory but to simply remain alive when every expectation said she should not. "Suit up," Jace orders. The words are a command, but also a lifeline. Humanity, he knows, is strongest when united. She hesitates only a fraction of a second, a silent acknowledgement of her reluctance to trust, before joining him. Together they form a deadly tandem, demonstrating a truth that has defined humans across centuries. Even against overwhelming odds, ingenuity and courage can level the playing field. As the first wave of Vrylock fighters tears through the station's outer defenses, Jace's team responds with a combination of ingenuity and instinct. Humans may lack the sheer numbers of the alien attackers, but their technology is clever and adaptable. Energy shields are reconfigured mid-battle, drones are hacked on the fly, and human pilots take insane risks that no automated system would dare attempt. Every move is high stakes, requiring both split-second decision-making and unwavering trust in each other. This is what makes humans dangerous. Not raw power, but resourcefulness, creativity, and unbreakable determination. The fight escalates quickly. Plasma fire lights up the station, reflecting off metal shards and floating debris. The woman's helmet is scratched, dented, and smeared with a faint, almost imperceptible red stain. Jace doesn't comment. There is no time for sentiment, only action. He notes the small details anyway. She is human, battle-worn and unbroken despite the horrors she has faced. She moves through the chaos with lethal grace, striking at Vrylock drones and weak points in enemy hulls. Every kill, every strategic move is a testament to the adaptability of humans under pressure. Amidst the chaos, their teamwork becomes apparent. Jace covers wide arcs of fire with his interceptor, drawing enemy attention, while she moves like a shadow through corridors, taking out threats before they can react. Human ingenuity shines in improvisation. A detached panel becomes a makeshift barricade, a dislodged drone serves as a distraction, and a small improvised plasma charge disables a swarm of enemy fighters. The Vrylock rely on brute force and numbers, but humans rely on thought, unpredictability, and the capacity to turn desperation into advantage. The emotional tension between Jace and the woman deepens even in the heat of battle. Her refusal to remove her helmet remains, a silent barrier born of trauma. Yet, in every coordinated move, in every life-saving maneuver, a bond begins to form. It is trust built not on words but on action. She fights alongside him, not as a stranger but as an ally whose experience and skill are undeniable. She is not just a survivor, she is a force multiplier. Someone whose presence turns a near-hopeless defense into a fight that is winnable, or at least survivable. As the first wave of attacks subsides, the wreckage-strewn orbit is quiet again, but only briefly. Both sides regroup. Human ships patching shields and reorganizing formations, while the Vrylock fleet prepares another strike. The sense of danger never leaves. Every moment is a test of ingenuity, courage, and endurance. For humans, victory is not guaranteed. It must be earned with every breath, every maneuver, and every decision made in the chaos of space. Part 2 establishes several key themes for the story. Humanity's resourcefulness, the bond of trust formed in crisis, and the unbreakable will to survive against alien powers that seem invincible. The woman, still helmeted, represents trauma and resilience. Jace embodies leadership and human daring. Together, they exemplify what HFY celebrates: humans who adapt, fight with intelligence and creativity, and refuse to surrender even when faced with overwhelming alien might. By the end of this section, the stakes are higher than ever. Humanity has demonstrated that sheer courage and cunning can counter technological superiority, but the Vrylock threat looms larger, stronger, and more coordinated. The story accelerates toward the next stage, where these human forces, led by Jace and the mysterious woman, will have to transform their desperate survival into a calculated, daring strike against the enemy. After surviving the deadly orbital battle, Jace Nolan and the mysterious woman, later revealed to be Kara, descend to the jagged surface of Xanthara Prime. The planet is a harsh, unforgiving landscape, littered with abandoned alien installations, jagged rock formations, and deep chasms that hide both danger and opportunity. Unlike the cold, controlled chaos of space, the planet's surface presents unpredictable hazards: shifting rock, sudden storms, and the ever-present threat of Vrylock patrols. Every step is a test of endurance, skill, and human ingenuity. The first task is establishing contact with local human resistance cells. These survivors are scattered, hiding in tunnels, caverns, and ruined structures, fearful, battered, and disorganized. They have been living under the shadow of the Vrylock occupation for months, some even years, and many have lost faith in humanity's ability to fight back. Kara, though still helmeted and guarded, takes the lead in rallying these desperate souls. She moves with an authority born of experience, not rank. Her actions demonstrate that she is not only a survivor, but a natural strategist and warrior. Jace observes quietly, assessing the terrain, the people, and the resources available. He knows that raw courage alone will not win this fight. Humans are outnumbered, outgunned, and facing an alien force that treats lives as expendable. Yet he also knows something that no Vrylock weapon can destroy: human ingenuity. Within these scattered, desperate fighters lies the potential for tactics and technology that can turn a hopeless situation into a calculated offense. The first operation is swift and brutal. Kara leads a small team to disable a Vrylock supply outpost. They move under the cover of night, using natural formations and abandoned alien tech to mask their approach. Every step is calculated, every gesture deliberate. She demonstrates advanced combat techniques, combining agility, precision, and improvisation. A single misstep could mean death, but her confidence inspires the human survivors, showing them that the Vrylock are not invincible. Explosives are rigged using scavenged alien power cores, turning derelict tech into weapons. Human drones, repurposed from wreckage, serve as decoys, drawing alien patrols into traps. These small victories, tactical in nature but monumental in psychological impact, begin to change the morale of the resistance. Fear is still present, but it is now tempered with hope and determination. Humans, Jace notes, are at their most dangerous when fighting not for territory, but for survival, for pride, for each other. Amidst the operations, Kara's emotional arc deepens. Her helmet remains on, a shield against both memory and exposure, a barrier between herself and a world that has caused her immense pain. The Resistance notices her efficiency, her unflinching courage, but also senses the weight she carries. Jace respects this silence. He knows trauma cannot be rushed. Yet through shared battles and strategic victories, trust begins to form, not through words, but through action. The Resistance learns to follow her lead because she has proven her commitment to their survival. And Jace learns to rely on her instincts in ways that surpass his own tactical training. The humans begin to develop strategies that exploit the Vrylock's predictable patterns. They establish hidden supply caches, ambush patrol routes, and improvised communication networks using scavenged alien technology. Kara's knowledge of alien combat methods gives them a distinct advantage. She understands the Vrylok's over-reliance on brute force and their difficulty adapting to unpredictable human behavior. Guerrilla attacks start small but effective. A patrol wiped out here, a supply line sabotaged there. Every strike sends a message. Humans are not passive prey. Tension escalates as intelligence arrives. The Vrylok fleet above is regrouping, preparing for a major offensive to crush the planetary resistance once and for all. Kara and Jace realize that small raids, while effective, will not be enough. Humanity must rise, not just survive. The resistance begins to coalesce into a unified fighting force, blending human ingenuity with Kara's combat experience and Jace's strategic oversight. Part 3 also develops the HFY theme through ingenuity and resilience. While the Vrylok rely on overwhelming technology and numbers, humans leverage creativity, improvisation, and determination. It is this adaptability, the ability to think outside the box, to turn scarcity into advantage, that makes them formidable. Kara embodies this principle. She survived alone, learned to exploit weaknesses, and now applies that knowledge to empower an entire planet's worth of survivors. By the end of Part 3, the human resistance is no longer scattered and afraid. They are coordinated, inventive, and bold. Kara remains a figure of mystery and strength, her helmeted presence a symbol of survival and defiance. Jace has found an ally whose experience and skill complement his leadership. Together, they prepare for the next stage, a desperate strike against the Vrylok flagship, where ingenuity, courage, and raw human spirit will be tested like never before. The story transitions from survival and rallying to proactive offense, emphasizing that humanity does not wait to be crushed. It rises, fights, and adapts. Intelligence reports confirm the next target, the Vrylok flagship, a massive warship orbiting Xanthera Prime, serving as the command center for the entire alien fleet. Its sheer size and defensive firepower are intimidating. Its hull glows with energy shields, its guns bristle with plasma cannons, and it carries hundreds of elite alien troops. To strike it head-on would be suicide. But Jace, Nolan, and Kara understand the stakes. Humanity cannot survive while the flagship controls the fleet, directing Vrylok forces with ruthless efficiency. The mission requires precision, daring, and human ingenuity at its peak. Preparations are swift. The Resistance transforms Xanthera's surface into a hidden launch point. Human engineers retrofit stolen alien tech to create stealth-capable interceptors, masking their approach from the flagship's sensors. Every small advantage matters. Jace studies the ship's patrol patterns, shield rotations, and energy cycles, devising a plan that relies not on brute force but on exploiting timing, unpredictability, and cunning, traits that have always made humans dangerous. Kara reviews the interior layout, memorizing likely troop movements, weapon caches, and escape routes. Her intimate knowledge of Vrylok tactics gives the humans a fighting chance, turning fear into a calculated strategy. The strike begins with a night raid. Interceptors streak across the darkened atmosphere, cloaked in adaptive shielding, dodging orbital patrols. Every pilot knows that a single miscalculation means death. Humans take risks that machines would never attempt, plunging through concentrated fire to reach critical weak points, using debris as cover, and coordinating attacks with split-second precision. It's an all-out assault where courage and improvisation are as critical as firepower. Kara leads a strike team directly onto the flagship via docking tubes, moving like shadows across the enemy vessel. Her movements are precise and deadly. She disables turret systems, plants explosives, and eliminates patrols silently. Every corridor is a potential death trap. Alien soldiers are stronger and more numerous, but she uses human cunning to compensate. She triggers automated doors to crush enemy troops, uses gravity fluctuations to throw them off balance, and improvises weapons from scavenged components. Each victory is small, tactical, and psychologically devastating to the aliens. Jace pilots a squad of interceptors around the flagship, drawing attention away from Kara's team. Plasma cannons blaze, shields flare, and debris rains across space as he maneuvers through a storm of fire. Human pilots exploit enemy predictability, weaving between volleys of plasma, using sudden bursts of speed, and coordinating attacks with precision. The aliens are powerful, but they are methodical. Humans are chaotic, unpredictable, and brilliant under pressure. Every maneuver is a testament to ingenuity, and every victory, no matter how small, chips away at the flagship's defenses. Inside the flagship, Kara faces a major obstacle, the Vrylock warlord, a towering creature bristling with energy weapons, augmented armor, and a terrifying reputation. Kara's instincts scream at her to retreat, but survival has hardened her resolve. She fights with fluid, adaptive strategies, exploiting the warlord's reliance on strength over cunning. She lures it into narrow corridors, triggers environmental hazards, and strikes at weak points that humans would naturally see and exploit. Every strike is a mix of skill, ingenuity, and sheer determination, hallmarks of HFY spirit. The tension escalates as the flagship begins to self-repair, energy barriers pulse, and reinforcements arrive. Kara's team fights in perfect synchronization, covering each other's flanks, using improvised tools, and maintaining morale under conditions that would break most humans. Meanwhile, Jace identifies the critical vulnerability, the ship's energy core. It is heavily shielded but exposed briefly during realignment cycles. Human pilots and Kara's team coordinate their assault to coincide with this narrow window, demonstrating timing, teamwork, and adaptability that no alien foresight could predict. Explosions rock the vessel, alarms blare, and the environment becomes a deadly labyrinth of fire, sparks, and collapsing metal. Kara's leadership turns desperation into efficiency. Every human action counts, every decision is life or death. The Resistance demonstrates that human intelligence, creativity, and courage can challenge even a vastly superior force. By the end of Part 4, the mission is reaching its climax. Kara plants the final charges, Jace prepares to deliver the decisive strike from orbit, and the human resistance has proven that the Vrylock flagship is not invincible. Every small tactical victory, every improvisation, and every act of courage has brought them to the brink of success. Humanity's resourcefulness, adaptability, and relentless spirit shine brightest under pressure. This part highlights the essence of HFY. Humans are not the strongest in raw power, but their creativity, teamwork, and courage turn impossible odds into potential victory. Kara and Jace exemplify this through leadership, skill, and unshakable determination. The story transitions seamlessly to the final showdown, where every calculated move, every act of bravery, and every ounce of ingenuity will be tested to its limits. The final confrontation begins deep inside the Vrylock flagship, a vast, labyrinthine structure bristling with energy conduits, automated defenses, and alien soldiers. The atmosphere is thick with tension. Alarms echo through metal corridors, and every step threatens death. Kara, still helmeted but now fully committed to the fight, moves with a lethal mix of precision, instinct, and adaptability. Her every motion demonstrates why humans survive in situations where brute strength alone would fail. Jace and his team coordinate from orbit, guiding the Resistance with split-second updates, timing their interceptor strikes to support Kara's infiltration. Communication is minimal but efficient. Humans don't rely on protocols. They rely on ingenuity and intuition. They exploit every weakness, hull breaches, timing windows in shield rotations, and enemy patterns that, while consistent, cannot anticipate the chaotic brilliance of human tactics. Inside the flagship, Kara faces the Vrylock warlord, a massive, terrifying entity equipped with advanced armor and brutal energy weapons. Its size and power are overwhelming, yet Kara does not flinch. She uses the environment as an extension of herself, turning structural weaknesses into weapons. Narrow corridors restrict the warlord's movements. Unstable platforms serve as traps, and exposed power conduits provide opportunities to disrupt its attacks. She improvises constantly, demonstrating that humans thrive under pressure, adapting in ways alien logic cannot predict. The battle is relentless. Plasma bolts scorch walls, the air shakes with explosions, and metal fragments rain across corridors. Kara's small team is outnumbered, but they compensate with speed, coordination, and relentless ingenuity. They set traps mid-combat, manipulate alien AI drones, and exploit moments of hesitation in the warlord's attacks. Every move shows that human survival is not based on brute force alone, but on adaptability, creativity, and courage under unimaginable stress. Meanwhile, Jace identifies the ship's energy core as the pivotal point. Its shield cycle offers a brief but critical vulnerability. The plan is audacious. Kara and her team will hold the warlord long enough for Jace to deliver the final strike from orbit. Timing must be perfect. Failure means annihilation. Human ingenuity shines as interceptors maneuver through concentrated fire, using debris, exhaust trails, and sudden feints to penetrate the flagship's defenses. Every maneuver is high risk but calculated, showcasing the HFY principle that humans thrive when they must think beyond conventional limits. Kara's internal struggle adds emotional intensity to the battle. Her helmeted presence symbolizes the trauma she has endured, yet in this moment, she channels her pain into determination. Every blow she strikes, every trap she sets is a declaration. Humans cannot be broken by cruelty or oppression. The warlord is fierce, its attacks brutal and precise, yet Kara's combination of skill, strategy, and fearless creativity begins to turn the tide. She lures it into unstable sections of the ship, using environmental hazards and improvised tools to level the playing field. As the confrontation reaches its peak, Kara's team makes the ultimate sacrifice, holding off reinforcements to buy her time. Explosions ripple through corridors, alarms scream, and every human move becomes a gamble. The intensity of the moment highlights a core HFY theme. Humanity is at its best when it fights not for domination, but for survival, for comrades, and for a future that refuses to be dictated by alien oppressors. Jace times his orbital strike with precision. A single concentrated shot hits the exposed energy core, triggering a catastrophic chain reaction. The flagship shudders violently as shields collapse, systems overload, and the warlord is finally incapacitated. Kara and the remaining team navigate the chaotic interior, using their wits and agility to escape the collapsing ship. The flagship, the symbol of Vrylock control and terror, erupts in a cataclysmic explosion, sending shockwaves that scatter the alien fleet and destroy their command structure. The victory is not without cost. Lives are lost, equipment destroyed, and scars, both physical and emotional, remain. Yet the moment is triumphant. Humans have proven that courage, intelligence, and adaptability can overcome even overwhelming odds. The battle emphasizes the HFY principle that humanity's greatest weapons are not strength or technology alone, but ingenuity, teamwork, and unbreakable spirit. By the end of Part 5, Kara has removed her helmet fully, confronting the scars of her past and the reality of her survival. Her team, battered but alive, reflects the culmination of HFY themes. Humans endure, adapt, and prevail through resilience and creativity. The Vrylock retreat, leaderless and shattered. A stark reminder that even superior alien forces cannot anticipate the resourcefulness of a determined species. Part 5 serves as the emotional and narrative climax, blending high-octane action with character development. It reinforces that humans, when pushed to the brink, rise to extraordinary heights, using ingenuity, courage, and sheer will to triumph against forces that seem invincible. The story now moves into the final resolution, where survival, reflection, and legacy will cement humanity's enduring strength. The aftermath of the Vrylock flagship's destruction leaves Xanthera Prime scarred, but alive. Fires smolder across alien installations, twisted metal litters valleys, and the distant echoes of explosions ripple across the planet. The human survivors, battle-worn, weary but unbroken, emerge from hiding to survey the devastation. The threat that once seemed insurmountable has been fractured. The fleet leaderless and retreating, their fear replaced by shock. Humanity, against all odds, has survived and triumphed. Kara stands among them, helmet removed for the first time since their descent. Her face bears the marks of battle, scratches, bruises, and a deep scar that tells a story of pain, endurance, and survival. Yet in her eyes burns the unmistakable spark of determination, the essence of what it means to be human. She is no longer just a survivor. She is a symbol of defiance, resilience, and the unwavering spirit that defines humanity in the story's HFY core. Jace approaches, surveying the planet from a small hill overlooking the survivors and the smoking remnants of the flagship. He sees not chaos but potential, the beginnings of rebuilding, the seeds of a future forged from ingenuity, courage, and shared experience. He places a hand on Kara's shoulder, a gesture of camaraderie and acknowledgement. "We made it," he says, voice low but firm. "We endured. And this is just the beginning." Kara nods, silently agreeing. Her past, her trauma, and her fear have not disappeared, but she has transformed them into something far stronger: purpose, unity, and leadership. The human resistance begins to consolidate. Survivors gather in former alien outposts, converting them into bases, workshops, and training facilities. Engineers repurpose damaged technology, turning remnants of Rylock ships into energy sources, communication devices, and defensive systems. Every salvage operation demonstrates the HFY principle. Human ingenuity thrives when resources are scarce and challenges are immense. Improvisation, creativity, and problem-solving transform devastation into opportunity. Emotionally, the survivors process their losses and victories. Families and friends reunite, soldiers mourn fallen comrades, and Kara is approached by members of the resistance she inspired. They do not speak only of gratitude, but of admiration and hope. Through her leadership, she has shown that survival is not merely about individual strength, but about unity, strategy, and the courage to confront fear head-on. Even trauma can be a source of resilience, a tool to teach others to endure. The Vrylock fleet, now scattered and leaderless, retreats into deep space. Sensors detect signals of withdrawal, ships limping away in disarray. Humanity's actions have not only protected Xanthera Prime, but sent a clear warning. Humanity will not bow, will not surrender, and can strike with intelligence, precision, and unbreakable will. The galaxy itself has been shown the danger of underestimating human creativity and courage. The human's victory is not just survival. It is a declaration, a statement etched into both history and the minds of alien aggressors. Kara walks through the camp, observing the rebuilding efforts. Children play amidst the ruins, while engineers teach others to operate salvaged alien machinery. The planet, though scarred, is alive with energy, hope, and innovation. Every human contribution reinforces the idea that adversity is a catalyst for growth, and that the species thrives when ingenuity, cooperation, and adaptability are pushed to their limits. Kara, once isolated and haunted, now finds herself at the center of this new chapter, respected and trusted by those she once hesitated to embrace. Jace and Kara take a moment to reflect on the broader implications. They have not merely defended a single world, they have proven a fundamental truth of humanity. When faced with overwhelming threats, humans combine intellect, courage, and adaptability to turn despair into triumph. The Vrylock's numerical and technological advantage was formidable, but humans turned strategy, unpredictability, and determination into decisive weapons. This victory is a testament not to strength alone, but to the qualities that make humanity unique in the galaxy. As night falls on Xanthera Prime, the survivors gather around fires, sharing stories of heroism, sacrifice, and endurance. Kara sits beside Jace, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the remnants of the Vrylock fleet retreat, carrying tales of human defiance. Yet humanity is undeterred, already thinking ahead, rebuilding, reinforcing, and preparing for the inevitable challenges the galaxy will throw at them. The story closes on a note of resilient optimism, a celebration of human tenacity and spirit. In the end, Part 6 is not just a resolution of battle, but an affirmation of the HFY ethos. Humans endure, humans adapt, humans inspire, and humans rise above impossible odds. Kara's personal journey, from trauma to leadership, is mirrored in the planet's recovery and the Resistance's growth. Humanity's triumph is not merely survival, it is the embodiment of ingenuity, courage, and the unyielding drive to persevere, leaving a lasting legacy in the galaxy.